Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you're a returning visitor to this channel, you know that I like to showcase wildlife and nature, and also that sometimes I talk about some interpersonal circumstances that I've been witness to, and some people will not follow, but on this channel I really like to showcase wildlife and nature. And oh, by the way, I enjoy playing guitar. And so on this channel, I try to merge those circumstances. And I also happen to drive quite a bit, or I used to happen to drive quite a bit to different locations to showcase some of the things that I've seen. Like, for an example, here in San Antonio, apparently we were able to barely see the northern lights last night. And I remember last year around this time frame, I was at Palo Duro Canyon seeing the northern lights, and I saw it in person. It was amazing. The northern lights, when they're down this far south in Texas, for an example, they're actually red instead of the greenish color that you might see for the aurora on if you do a Google search for said topic. But anyway, all of these circumstances that you're listening to, that I'm telling you about, that I've shown you, have to do with something that you want to delve into. I'm a reflection, and on my side of the reflection, what I see is someone who is struggling very much with trying to recover my own health. And so I'm coming out to a place where I can go and walk around in nature, which is my favorite thing to do. Why is that? Because in the past, I could see quite an abundance of wildlife. Nowadays, there are certain things that are different. Just like, for an example, on the way in, I passed a gas station and gas was something like $3 for regular and something like almost $4 for unleaded. And I remember not too terribly long ago, in the scope of my time, the gas prices used to be about $1 for unleaded, and premium was the only one that cost more, and that price would normally fluctuate. So when I started with my ability to travel and explore and learn and experience this life, I was given an opportunity where some people, for that low of a price, $1 a gallon, for some people it was easy to travel. For me, it still wasn't easy to travel because I didn't grow up with a great amount of fortune. However, I got a job while I was still in high school. I used that money to do things like travel and have experiences with my friends. Experiences with my friends and family are the reason that you're probably on this channel right now, trying to follow along and trying to figure out, possibly judgingly, how to respond to what it is you're hearing. And sometimes all I've got to say is, when I tell a story, I like to tell it to you to your face. And some people like to tell stories behind people's back. The people who will tell you a story to your face, sometimes you might say that they're arrogant or that maybe they're narcissistic. But the truth is, if someone is going to tell a story behind your back and manipulate truth and not be able to have a full conversation, you're basically dealing with a narcissistic individual, a liar, someone who doesn't want to have the truth exposed so much that they pretty much will deny it as, what is it, a false narrative, something like that. Today's news had a lot to do with the false narrative, and some people and decisions that they clearly made. And for whatever reason, some people will try to not have the truth come out, and other people will just admit to it. The difference is whether someone admits to it because that's just part of their character. They tell you things how they actually are. They tell you the truth. Or if they're telling you something to vindictively cause any kind of pain and despair. Well, there's a difference between those two things, but that's not even anything that I want to get into right now. What I really want to get into is that A, this is my channel, and B, let's get to the content that I wanted to showcase. On this particular day, I would see quite a few armadillos. This is very uncommon to see so many armadillos during the day, but climate challenges have presented us with quite a few unique opportunities as of late. On this particular walk, I was at Guadalupe River State Park, and I was also finding quite a bit of man-made debris. Here we're about to see the second armadillo that I saw on this walk. So the armadillo is in front of me, and I'm just crouched down, and I've been sitting like this for a while. And recently the topic of health and wellness has been coming up among my peers. And one of the things that I've known to be a fact after having experienced it is that the ability to sit in a squatted position for an extended period of time while being calm is not only just beneficial holistically, but also topically. Like, for an example, right now I'm crouched down so that I can take advantage of this scant amount of shade, and the armadillo is in front of me in the brush, using the brush as its own shade. Check it out. Armadillos are typically caught up in foraging, and they don't have the best eyesight or hearing, so you can usually watch them for an extended amount of time uninterrupted. And in this case, this is the second armadillo that I saw from the day, and it's about to disappear into the brush. Here's the third armadillo I saw this day. Here's the fourth armadillo I saw on this day. The last time I saw so many armadillos foraging during the day, it was also during a time of great climate challenge where the armadillos were having quite a bit of trouble scavenging, or foraging I should say, for the things that they would eat normally during the nighttime. This is still the fourth armadillo that I saw, and it happened to be approaching me, and so I decided to crouch down by the side of the trail to see if it would give us a close-up encounter for a unique perspective of this beautiful creature that happens to be part of my landscape and habitat here in the Texas region. Pay close attention and you'll notice the exact moment that this armadillo notices my presence. By this point in time, I'd been in a seated squat for several minutes, and the trails were pretty much absent of any traffic except for me. And the armadillos, of course. It should go without saying that some of these items that are on our trail systems need to be called to attention so that maybe we can do something about these things collectively. Here's the 5th armadillo that I would see on this particular 5-mile walk. It disappeared into the brush just as readily as any of the other ones. Almost as if to prove a point, here's another armadillo right when I was about to leave the parking area that I was in. As part of my walk, I decided to also walk down to the river, where I got to see a pooch enjoying the beautiful, clear, cold water, which I decided to do as well. As I acclimated to the temperature, I decided to cross the river in my sandals. I hope you enjoyed our walk today, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to this interesting creation. And till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.